And to kind of go on what Glenn was talking about, the icebreaker, we started every meeting with an icebreaker. We found that when you go from meeting to meeting to meeting, it's very difficult to kind of turn on creativity, to all of a sudden, put creative energy towards solving a big question. We found icebreakers are very helpful to kind of get the creativity flowing, and we wanted to demonstrate that with you guys. It's also goes to demonstrate one of the core concepts that we're trying to communicate, which is as a collective whole, we can achieve a lot more. We can answer bigger questions. We can bring diverse knowledge to problems and really bring a 325 plus viewpoints on issues that face OU, OUIT. I first want to start off by thanking the 12 directors for, I'm sorry, not the 12 directors, thanking the directors for allowing the 12 of us to take 5 weeks off of our busy schedule and put our energy towards the question, what is possible when IT pros work different? We really appreciate that. I know I've grown immensely from it. I speak for the 12 of us when I say that we believe that what we're going to deliver today will be of great value to OUIT and has the potential to revolutionize what we do. I also want to take this time to thank David and Mark and Nick and Jennifer for being fantastic facilitators and really inspiring us to come up with and to produce what we're producing today or delivering today. The 12 of us, like Glenn said, we came from all different good to great groups. We represent a good cross-section of 2 campuses, of a lot of the tech teams, and so when we're up here presenting today, we want you to know that we speak for the people that work for you. We are the voice of OUIT, and we really feel empowered by that. So a lot of you might be thinking, what the heck did these guys do for 5 weeks? Well, to kind of take you through the process of how we went about solving this big question, I'll take you through that process. First, in the first few meetings, we came up with a charter. We wanted to establish some common grounds on which we could attack this big question. The charter covers our shared vision, our shared values, our foundation on which we wanted to attack this work different problem, what we thought the deliverables would look like, what we were kind of looking for to come out of this effort, and also kind of how we wanted to work. We wanted to have icebreakers, we wanted to have roles. Behind Seth over there are some props, and we have the Agent of Chaos prop on display in front here. We came up with different roles for people to take on during the process. We have the timekeeper role, is responsible for making sure everything's on time, and we have the Agent of Chaos role, who's kind of the devil's advocate during the process. We had the scribe role, whose job it was to keep the Ning site updated. We had a lot of roles, and these rotated every meeting, so somebody new kind of took that role. And we found these to be really helpful in making sure we have a balanced approach to working different and make sure all viewpoints were kind of accounted for. So we built roles. Then we said, okay, we have this big question, what is possible when IT pros work different? So we decided to come up with 100 questions, over 100 questions, of things that we thought would be relevant to answer in this process. What questions we had that we thought should be answered by Work Different. And realized we couldn't answer 100 questions, so we whittled those down to about the 25 most important questions that we wanted to answer or at least address in this process. And through a series of, a week after we came up with the 25 questions, we started answering those questions, developing our ideas, and through a series of 12 presentations and feedback sessions, we were able to kind of refine our ideas, and we have now come up with what we're presenting today. That's kind of the methodology we took to attacking this question. Allow me to demonstrate on the board here one of the concepts that goes to the heart of what we're trying to talk about. Oftentimes, projects that happen in Norman don't often, aren't visible by people in Oklahoma City at the Health Science Center. Maybe there's duplicate projects going on in both places. maybe there's, there's a project in Norman that's struggling, but there's a resource at Health Science Center who's the expert on the field, and maybe they haven't been brought in, and maybe they should be brought in, you know. So there are kind of these stovepipes, if you will, of that kind of prevent communication, prevent connections from happening, prevent collaboration. And then we also have Tulsa. And oftentimes, if I need to get to a resource in Oklahoma City at the Health Science Center, I will, you know, go to my boss, who then talks to some other manager over here, who talks to another manager, who gets the guy I need to talk to. And so that's how we, you know, typically, or a lot of times, build links across campuses. And this is not working different. This is kind of a superimposed collaboration that's not working for us. I could have easily have labeled these EL, Merrick, you know, physical boundaries, and Evans, thank you. I could have also labeled these with teams, infrastructure, security, PMO, whatever. These boundaries, these isolation kind of tendencies come up everywhere. So what if instead of having isolation be common and community be kind of rare, what if we made community common and isolation less frequent? So we came up with this concept called unity. It's a combination of you plus the community, so it kind of gives you that inclusive feeling, and it has OU in the middle, so it's very nice like that. And an IT, yes. So basically what we're saying is now if we're able to create a common platform on which we can share ideas, on which people can make connections across teams, across campuses, we can potentially make these stovepipes less relevant, blur the boundaries that are inhibiting collaboration and teamwork. And unity absolutely relies on good to great. Some of you may be asking what's the relationship between the two. Good to Great has provided us with IT pros. Unity starts with IT pros and says, what can we do now? What is kind of, if we pool our collective intelligence, our collective work power, what kind of problems can we solve in this community? And how can we truly bring value to OU and OUIT? And with that thought, I'm going to pass it off to Corey to talk about the community piece.
Thanks, Jeff. Never used one of these, so this is kind of new for me. Before I start, I'm going to be talking a little bit about this illustration as well. And I just want to go ahead and thank Seth Hartman for helping us get a finalized design on it. And it looks great, and it's very much improved over our initial scribblings, so we appreciate that. So really, the coolest part about this whole idea of unity, the whole part of community, and the thing that I see as being the most valuable, what we see in these stovepipes are a lot of organizational constraints. We see people who, either through physical separation or through differing responsibility, feel as though maybe they're in isolation. And so what we think about this unity piece is that it helps supersedes all of those, it supersedes all those constraints, and it gives us just a unified stance, a unified front by which we can approach all of our problems. Even cooler still, if you start to remove some of these boundaries, what we're left with is a foundation. It's a foundation for us to continue to grow and to evolve organically based on this whole community concept. Basically, what we see is that this growth comes both organically for the individual in the IT pros and the development of the self and how they can contribute to the community as a whole. So for us, this is just a natural evolutionary process to help us really become effective as an organization. Now, as terms of how this community will work and relate to people and how it'll be applicable to what we do, we have kind of formed this diagram, which I don't know if everybody can see on this side. So the idea being, there are burning questions that we have, that our customers have. There are ideas that we have to improve what we currently do. The problem with that is that a lot of times lines of communication to get those heard and to get those addressed are either not known or difficult to kind of traverse. So our concept involves the community